Welcome back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Soul Nomad and the World Eaters. So last time we had the very tragic death of Shauna. It turns out that she had not used the medicine that Tricia had actually given her to cure Scarlet Iago, and basically she showed that she had a very human touch to her in the end. She wasn't just a horrible thief. And so now what we need to do, as Trish found out that Shauna was actually her sister, is check on her and see how she's doing.
It seems Shauna had been putting herself under severe stress.
I see. I'm sorry. I need to be alone.
So it goes.
You think she'll be okay?
She probably went to visit her sister's grave. No worries. I'm sure she'll be back once she settles herself. I'm more concerned about the Sep boy over there.
Who, me? I'm perfectly fine. See? Full of vim and vigor.
Even I could see through that horrible act.
Shut up! I'll feel better once we start moving around, so I can take my mind off it.
So let's report to Lady Layna then. Back to the Nomad Palace. So to continue the main storyline, of course, as I just mentioned, we have to head back to the Nomad Palace and check in with Lady Layna. So let us do that. We'll head into town and go to the throne room.
You've all done very well for yourselves. You've taken a tremendous step forward.
Lady Layna, that Thurist emblem I saw looked really familiar.
Is that so? Then your memories are indeed coming back to you.
10 years ago, what happened to me?
The land of Pulkina that now stands in ruins. 10 years ago, that was your home.
Pulkina. Does that mean I had a family too?
Oh, certainly. Your father was an Apis priest and a longtime friend of mine. And your mother was on the path to becoming a great magician. But they got caught up in the religious war with the Thurists, and right in front of you, they were... I was notified, but you were in shock by the time I arrived. You were staring into space, sitting in a pool of blood. That's correct. I used the crimson tear that your mother became.
Then, when you told me they were watching over me...
Your mother's name was Attendil, and your father was Mosley, I believe. Don't worry, child. They'll always be close by.
You mean... are they here?
Mosley agreed to help seal Gig.
Oh, that crimson tear from before! That was my dad? But of all the things he could have done, why'd he have to use his power on this? Hey, you in there! Get out of that body right this instant!
Why should I? It's nice in here. This is like the perfect body. But more importantly, you know, everyone else is nice enough to call me by name.
Yeah, why don't you call him Gig?
I'm perfectly happy with you in there.
I'm just glad to see you've grown so close. Danette, you remember your promise, don't you?
Promise. Oh, yes! I remember.
Good. I'm putting my deepest faith in you. I'm putting my faith in all of you.
Well, that's nice. Thank you, Lady Layna. So that is it. We have now resolved all of that stuff. We have beaten Thuris once and for all, which means we have to head after the third World Eater. So that means we have to head towards the town and the kingdom of Orviska. And of course, that means we're also going to have to do a battle in the slums or the outskirts. But first, of course, let's show off some stuff. You'll notice I put all of my characters back in their Loki's fortune rooms, which means I'll be gaining extra experience. And I'm also going to save before we do this battle.
There's one. No, two of them. It looks like they're coming this way.
And it seems as if they're being chased.
It looks like another group of Sphinx. Wait, no! They're Sphinx Knights!
You're Yavis Perrin!
Huh? You know him?
Of course I know them. So do you. Remember? Yavis and Perrin? The loyal beasts who are always with me through thick and thin?
Loyal beasts, huh?
Hey, now those Sphinx Knights are coming after us!
You there. Those Sphinx are our rightful property. Hand them over at once.
What did you just say?
You wear the garb of the Knights of Orviska. So your claim is that these Sphinx belong to Orviska?
That's right. They deserted while receiving basic military training. Cowards seem to be common these days. Now hand them over!
I would never. To betray my devoted servants that way, kind of master would I be?
And we can't let you get away with bullying the weak like this. Any friend of Mr. Odie's is a friend of ours. You're just a bunch of blockheads.
That's right. You're not gonna pull a fast one on Sluggo here.
You guys, I'm so touched. Knights of Orviska, if you want these beasts so badly, you'll have to pull them from my cold, dead hands.
Would you so needlessly incur the wrath of Orviska? I can't say I understand it, but it's your choice if you want to die for a couple of Sphinx. They have a point, you know. Why even bother? It's not worth our time. Oh, come on! Why do you keep sticking up for these losers? Have you made up your mind? Then have at you!
We stick up for losers because we are a hero, and that means we have to save the people who can't defend themselves. Although you're going to find in this battle that these Sphinx are more than capable of defending themselves. Yavis and Perrin are actually pretty powerful. And it's kind of cool, the Sphinx Knight group. They have this knight on their backs. They have that awesome polearm that they're carrying, and they also have a really good movement range. So they're not a terrible class, actually. They're pretty good, and if you put them in the back row, they actually have a full line attack that'll attack an entire enemy group in a line. So we have to take on, of course, some Sphinx Knights of Orviska. Looks kind of fun to be riding them around like that. You don't have to worry about defending Yavis and Perrin. Nothing happens if they actually die, which is a real possibility because they will attack full on like this. And like I said, you know, the actual leaders of these groups are pretty powerful, so it's not really that big of a possibility that they're gonna die, but if they keep doing it, they will. Now you have a choice in this battle. You can end the battle very quickly by taking out these 3 knights before turn 3. Or, what I'm gonna do is you can wait around and there will actually be reinforcement groups on turn 3 and turn 5. And so because I want to get as much experience as possible, I am actually going to be letting those reinforcement groups come into this battle. And the reinforcement groups are also Sphinx Knights, but there will be more knights in each of the parties. The first wave will have 4 knights in a party, and the second wave will have another 4 groups of knights, but there will actually be 5 knights in each of the parties. Now, since each of the groups are exactly the same, there is no variance in terms of the enemies in these different parties. I'm going to be cutting out a lot of the battles, and in fact, I'm just going to be cutting ahead. So what I will do is I will show you up to the first reinforcement group, and then I will cut to the second reinforcement group so that you can see where they're located on the battlefield. And then I'll just cut to the end of the battle. And from here on, this is really the last battle that we have to take on for quite a while. And there's really going to be a lot of exposition and also a lot of storyline elements that are coming up. And that's about it. After this battle, we're going to sit back and enjoy the story for quite a few episodes. And there's actually going to be a lot of events that occur. The death of Shauna was not the only kind of very dramatic and unexpected thing in our near future. But I don't want to spoil things too much. Just keep in mind that this storyline is going to get very, very interesting if it hasn't been interesting enough already. And I did get a question about whether or not Trish was aware that she was sisters with Shauna, and as a viewer, keep in mind, we are privy to information that the characters in the game are not necessarily. So we were able to see Shauna's flashback, but Trish did not have access to that information, which is why she was surprised when Shauna asked her to call her sister. Alright, and now we should get the first reinforcement group. There they are. So I will cut ahead and meet you guys back here with the next one when it appears after turn 5. Here comes the second reinforcement group. And now I'll meet you guys at the end of the battle. Alright, finished them all off. So let's see the aftermath here, as Dio was able to finally show some spine and stand up to an enemy right in his face to protect Yavis and Perrin.
Damnation! We must send for backup. Retreat!
Yavis! Perrin! You guys are okay. Where were you guys? Huh? Ha! Hey! Don't pull so hard!
He took off! What should we do?
Well, obviously we're going to go after them. And we're going to get some resolution of that storyline of what happened to Odie's party mates so long ago. But first, let's show off what we get after this battle. We get a new class and also a new room. So the new class is, of course, the Sphinx Knight, a decent party member if you want to use them. And I may or may not in the future. Their biggest asset is their movement range. They can move pretty far, and they have decent stats. And they do have that multi-line ability from the back row. And that new room that we unlocked is another room that gives you access to an ability, this time the Adon ability, which makes me think of Mid-Boss from Disgaea 1, the Dark Adonis. So anyway, that is it for this episode. I will see you all next time. Thank you for watching, and so long.